Cheesy loaded vegan nachos, fuck off.
Thank you very much for joining us for one more round, and welcome back to another episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison, and to my right, as always, Danny Donaldson. You having fun down there?
I like nachos with meat.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to dive into the history of cinema with us and ask the question, does this film still hold up? This week, we are watching...
Léon The Professional.
Léon The Professional in celebration of Luc Besson's new film coming out.
Who did the herb one called Valkyrie?
Valerian?
Yeah, Valerian.
It looks kind of shit, to be honest.
Well,
but
at first it did, but then I saw it again at the cinema when we went, and I was thinking, actually, it doesn't look amazingly bad.
it looked even worse.
Oh.
What
I think I was
doesn't
trying to
look bad
compare it to his Guardians of the Galaxy.
is Leon. What's Leon about?
A hitman and a girl who loses her family and becomes a hit girl.
Like from Kick-Ass.
Well, that was the idea. No, it's about Leon, a hitman, a very lonesome hitman who ends up training a girl who's Natalie Portman.
She is.
And what's he called again? What's his name?
Leon.
Leno, Jean.
Do we ever find out his surname?
No, but the actor.
Oh, right.
Jean Reno.
Don't know.
And in amongst all this, people killed Portman's parents. The main gaffer behind it is done by the one and only Gary Oldman. So yeah, it's basically it's about hitman and revenge. Oh man, what a great action film!
It's good, isn't it?
Oh man, yeah. Like I'm not a huge fan of action films. A bit like when we did Die Hard, and you said, I'm not a huge fan of action.
Yeah.
I remember saying something the other day how we don't like the quick clap clap of the action scenes. You know, like we're watching.
What is the clip clap clop?
You know, the switch to this, bang there, switch to that.
Oh yeah, the quick cuts of action. And
You're right. Like when you said that, I was thinking. I had next day. I was thinking, you know what, Andy's fucking right. I don't like that either because it disorientates. And I think a really good example of that kind of quick-paced action is Quantum of Solace. Great film, but I don't like that intro because it's too much. It's too intense.
People always use that as a landmark of
Oh, is that
chaos
right?
cinema.
Really? No.
Yeah. Well, Michael Bay started the whole thing.
What with their Transformers and stuff?
Yeah, even though he shot like these other stuff, Bad Boys and things.
He did Bad Boys.
Yeah, he did Bad Boys.
Fuck off, no way.
And then Quantum of Solace is one of the first kind of steps forward where we start to get chaos cinema coming into.
Is that what it's called?
mainstream
Chaos
Hollywood.
cinema.
It's what people have like lovingly dubbed it. Is because like you'll like this. Slight side note to Léon the Professional. Chaos cinema. The idea that you can actually make the visuals do almost whatever you want. You can shake the camera as much as you want. You don't actually have to show what's going on screen exactly. What you do have to do is have an audio thread that tells the story that goes through the whole thing. So you have to hear like the screech of the tires. You have to hear the car turn.
So the audio guides you, whereas
it's the audio that keeps everything on track. It's the camera that adds the flashy excitement.
What's it called again? Chaos.
Chaos cinema.
I thought you were going to go on about like Sonic and
People have
the emeralds and diamonds and stuff.
people have started calling it Bayhem as well. Michael Bay. Bayhem.
As you do. Leon's not that.
No, not at all. That's why I quite like it. Wasn't sure about it first.
We know. Is this your first time seeing it?
No, I'd first time seen it all the way through, but I'd
Okay.
seen pretty much the whole thing in chunks from various places. I don't know how this happened.
I was going to say, it's not like you to watch chunks.
Nope.
You normally watch the whole thing. You're quite committed, aren't you, to your film?
I'm very committed. Hence the marriage.
It's really good. What's really good is the whole film is more or less a huge build-up to this final action scene, which is incredible action scene. It's. I think that the best way to describe how good that is when Gary Oldman just turns around and goes, "Yeah, everyone," like that, and that power, that passion behind Oldman, it empowers that, like personifies it. Because is personify the right word to use for it?
Sure, why not? No one's going to call you out.
Not at all. It's not at all. His face said it. It basically that the way he goes at that, it describes the whole.
Exemplifies.
Thank you. Exemplifies the whole thing. Mr. Fucking English here. Sorry. But it's got a really good build-up before, and the build-up is done by the characters. It's great. It's great that we didn't mean to do this. Andy just said, let's do this because it was your turn to pick.
Because the Herb film was coming out.
And the Herb film was coming out. Who's again the director?
Luc Besson.
Luc Besson.
If you want to sound really fancy and like really pretentious, you got to emphasise the on the end.
Luc Besson.
Luc Besson.
So what the reason we did this was for that, and yet we're going to another film where it just has incredible performances. Incredible performances.
Are you talking about
Leon?
Leon,
Glenn,
yeah.
Gary,
Oh, you're talking about Glenn Gary from last week.
Yeah, to Leon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have.
But that, again, like that's so we talk about the idea of this film is that it all builds up to this kind of climactic end fight at the end.
But it's not just that as well.
It's not just that.
It's about him and it's him and Oldman.
Exactly.
And there's that great scene where he goes,
that's my
"I love
favorite
you."
thing about the whole film is that the backbone of it is the relationship between these two characters, and it's about it kind of plays in very, very awkward territory.
It's weird, yeah.
Because it's basically she's supposed to be what, 14?
12.
12.
I think so.
So she's supposed to be very underage, but they try to give you a genuine sort of romance.
An oddball romance.
A very oddball romance. A guy who's like removed from society, so doesn't exactly have the standard societal rules, even though he knows he shouldn't be attracted to her, tries so hard to admit that he's not, but finally at the end, kind of admits it.
Well, I don't know. I think he says in a family fashion.
He absolutely could, but like I love how ambiguous it is.
Yeah, that's really good. I just thought there when you're speaking to me, do you know what it reminds me of? Taxi Driver. But without all the bad traits.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that.
Yeah. So
except this is somebody who's highly trained, I guess. It's his stuff is kind of like it's self-imposed. He chose that life in a lot of ways. I guess in
Leon.
Taxi Driver, De Niro doesn't really choose that. He's got mental problems that kind of lead him down that path.
Yeah, but there's little bits about Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
And there's a really good thing about like when you're on about the relationship. What I love is the contrast of this film, and there's multiple contrasts used. You got Leon, the professional, who is the professional. He's so clinical in his delivery. He's so clinical in the way he goes stuff. He's so efficient. And then you got the opposite, which is Gary Oldman, who's just, here's a phrase I thought earlier, he's poetically chaotic.
That's an interesting way of putting it. In that first scene where
He's doing Beethoven.
where he comes in, first scene and the second scene where he comes back for Natalie Portman's parents.
Yeah.
He reminds me, and obviously this is retroactively reminding me, of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Very interesting.
In a lot of that kind of
very interesting
in your face.
Calm.
There's a calm about him.
Yeah.
The way he's talking around the subject.
It just doesn't faze him at all.
No, and obviously Dark Knight's many years after this came out. But I was just curious if either Nolan or Ledger had seen this and took a little bit of inspiration for their delivery in that.
Maybe.
Not whole hog, just a little bit of it.
You have other contrasts as well. And the other contrast is Jean Reno, Leon, is this character who's, yes, he's very professional, but he's always, like you said, he's taken aback in the world. He's not very sociable. He doesn't go out there. So there's this, and you see this incredibly portrayed by Leon. Incredibly portrayed this innocence about him.
Yep.
Where he's in the cinema, he's looking around like that, and he's enjoying everything. It happens a few other times in the film, and just you say people act with the eyes and with the face. This is a masterpiece of acting on face.
Innocence is almost the perfect word for it. Hugely. Because it's that innocence that lets you get on board with the idea that what's going on between him and Natalie Portman isn't wholly creepy.
Exactly.
Because he does have a childlike wonder about him. He's just not fully formed. He has that kind of bit in the cinema where he's starry-eyed at the screen.
And he says it. He says,
he's working with Tony, who's convinced him that he's going to look after his money, and he's naive enough to believe that.
Yeah.
He looks after this plant. There's a lot of kind of childish nature in him, even though he is very much an adult. He admits it halfway through where he says
he needs to grow up.
He says, "I aged, but I need to grow up."
Yeah.
It's just interesting that he's not fully mentally developed yet. He's also very, very intelligent in combat.
Well, that's it. So he's really intelligent. He knows what to do. And he knows his limits, like when you got Portman and stuff. I reckon he's a bit like, you should not do this, just get away. Like she says at the start, she goes, cute name, and he spits milk all over because, But then you have
Portman. Again later on as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Portman's character, where there's a contrast there as well.
Yep.
She's acting far too old for her age. Yep. And it's the contrast of, you have these scenes where not true colours, she becomes too scared, whether she's in the bathroom scene with Oldman, where she's getting caught by the SWAT guys, or earlier on she's crying, you know, she's got the teddy, and yet she tries to act old and she tries to act like the adult in the relationship, the one wearing the trousers. She's going to do everything, you know, I'm the one that says stuff first, I love you. She tucks him in bed at the end. So it's weird you have this like kind of, this figure eight, it's weird, you have this incredibly efficient professional who knows what he's doing and he knows his limits, he's an adult, but he knows he needs to grow up, and he's got this childlike manner. You've got this child on the other side who likes him, who's got these childish, this not naiveness. She's clued up, she's streetwise.
Yeah.
And yet, overall, she actually is a kid.
Yeah.
So I love how that just kind of contrasts one another.
And that's what makes that weird pairing just work so well.
Hugely, yeah.
Because I think if you strip those two characters, that pairing from the film, it becomes quite generic in some ways. And I hesitate to say that because you can't strip those two characters from the film. It would be an entirely different film. It's about them so whole hog. But that's why I was hesitant at first watching this film. Because I was a bit like, all right, we've got like some kind of late 80s, early 90s drug dealing going on. We've got some corrupt police. We've got like a skilled assassin. But then those two get together. And from there, you just watch them grow and develop individually and as a pair.
Yeah.
And it's just a delight to watch that.
There's a really good scene, actually, a really good montage scene. And I wish I found the song that they played it with. I'm pretty sure it's one I knew because I was like, oh, that's a great. Can't remember anyway. It's where he's training her to do the hits, you know, the chewing gum on the door. He's there with the pliers, and they have the milk and all this. And it's like a montage sequence, but of her like growing up, and he's training her. And it's there's a piece of music used to it, and it's absolutely sensational.
The music's great. The music's like it's slightly off kilter. It's slightly odd. It's very French. I think there's Luc Besson coming through as a director. Luc Besson coming through as a director. That's like he's got very very kind of French quirky music to back all this, and actually tonally it shifts the piece from being a generic action film to being something a little bit more just it's got its own identity about it that you don't see represented in a lot of films. Go on.
Composer also did Goldeneye.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, how cool is that, man?
That's really cool, actually.
Eric Serra, he's called. Well played, son. Well played. So I haven't watched any of his other stuff that Luc Besson. I forgot the name of it, so I was looking up the thing and trying to do it. Because we were going to do this on The Fifth Element, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do this because I genuinely love this film. And I really wanted to revisit it again. Because I just watched, I think I texted Anna and I must have just watched Glengarry and I was like, Andy, we need a film for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, fuck yeah, Leon, great shout. And I haven't seen The Fifth Element, and I probably won't go to cinemas and see that Valerian when it comes out, but I might go and see it after. Why not?
I'm telling you, I think this is the end of Luc Besson's career.
Really?
Not the end of it. I don't think he's going to stop making films. I think
you're the person who fucking hates trailers and never watched them. You can't judge a film off a trailer.
But have you seen that? Oh god, it looks disgusting.
Well, maybe just the production house did it.
Watch The Fifth Element, and then
have you seen The Fifth
trailer.
Element?
Yeah.
All right, okay, fair enough. I do need to watch it. I think when I was looking at it before and I saw a trailer, I found it a bit quirky and a bit like that. And
it's weird. It's again not to emphasize where he's from, but it's French sci-fi.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, Drive, French film. Any comparisons between the two?
He's not French.
Drive is a French film.
Nicolas Winding Refn is not French.
Oh, I got the whole feel of it. It was like kind of that whole music soundtracks, right? French, kind of like electro stuff like that.
No.
I got this huge French neon vibe to the film.
Hang on, you go see what you say. I'm just going to.
I was just wondering. There is something I want to touch upon, which is one of the main things about this film. You know, we're going on the idea of performances, and we're doing, like you said, we're done. It's probably not. It's probably Danish or Swedish.
Danish.
Oh, there we go.
Well done.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like I get this French thing. It's probably because of Daft Punk, Justice, and all that. You know, Headbanger Records.
True.
And it's got this. I digress. This is hands down the best performance I've seen Gary Oldman do.
Yeah, it's a really weird one for him. I haven't seen him do a lot of this type of character.
Well, he did quite a few baddies, didn't he?
What else has he done?
I can't think, but I know he's done baddies.
I think that my problem is for the past 10 years
he's been a good guy.
Yeah, my head goes to Commissioner Gordon when I think of Gary Oldman.
Tinker Tailor, I think he plays a good guy. But even if you take that away, take his other performances away. Well, don't take the other performances away. 'Cause I just said that's his best performance. As any actor as well, that's one of the best villains I've seen. I haven't seen something like that since Hans Gruber in Die Hard.
It's great, and it's got that great arc where like what makes him great. This is the problem with like Marvel villains. Obviously, right now everyone's talking about the fact that Marvel can't nail a villain properly.
I did enjoy Vulture.
Yeah, actually, we'll get into that in a different video. But they can't nail villains because they're not willing to do what this film does,
Which is a contrast.
Opening by letting the villain win, and actually by closing by letting the villain win.
As a then small piece of
get a little, then kind of get his comeuppance at the end.
Yeah. There's things he does with himself. There's a great scene. I hope you put it down where you will. Where he's in the toilet and he's and he's with Portman there, and he notices her, and he almost. I'll try and look at the camera there. So I'm looking at the camera now like this. I'm looking at you. He takes a pill. He looks away, and there's this demonic possession of him when he does it. You see him early on, and he cracks it. Yeah. And you see from his back, he goes, and he makes this weird noise. She's like, he goes to her, and she's like, "What the fuck's happening?" And he looks over, as opposed to look at the camera in your eyes. He almost like looks past and he goes, "Oh, hi there, yeah, like this." And it's so unnerving. It's like
he does feel very unhinged in every scene that he's doing. You don't know what he's about to do next.
Like with a gun there, and that guy with the dreads, he's like, "Whoa, chill out, man." There's a few times I've told him to chill out. And the worst part of it is he fucking DEA agent.
Yeah, that's interesting because like the corrupt cop thing has been done 1,000 times over, but he takes it to like another level by being mentally disturbed as well.
He really is. I'd love to know what the fuck he's on because that looks terrifying. Because genuinely, it looks like. Tell you what reminds me of Wonder Woman.
Hang on, what?
I've got stuff for you, and he takes it. He's like,
"Oh right, yeah, okay, I know what you mean now." Yeah. I thought you were just talking about Wonder Woman.
No.
So we can't talk about this film without at least having a good talk about Natalie Portman.
Oh my god, that was amazing! What a performance!
Yeah, because she's so young in this. But like normally, you get a young actor or young actress, you put them in a film, you put them in a big role, they're gonna fuck it up. Or it's gonna be a little awkward. You're gonna have to kind of like suspend your disbelief and be like, "Oh, it's a child actor." No,
she absolutely nails the fucking shit out of this.
She gives a really difficult performance to give and does it sensationally.
I'd seriously, it's weird because you see Natalie Portman nowadays and she's kind of like, she's not that intense anymore. She's a bit quieting down.
Yeah, I know
stuff
you mean.
Like that.
Although Black Swan,
I haven't seen it yet.
You need to see Black Swan.
Yes, I do. So, well, yeah, I do. And just to see this from Natalie Portman, and it's just like, do you know what it reminds me of? We went on it the other day. It reminds me of Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah. Funny because you said Hit Girl at the beginning.
Didn't mean to, but yeah, almost like an alternative version of Hit Girl.
You can see kind of parallels in the way Chloe Grace Moretz's career has built and how Natalie Portman built her career as well.
Incredible. It's really nice to go from Glengarry to this, and just there's a huge emphasis on performance.
I mean, yeah, this felt bigger than last week when we did Glengarry, Glen Ross. This felt more like you're kind of a little bit more towards the typical blockbuster, but by no means a typical blockbuster.
No, not at all.
Way more heart, way more character development, way more interesting dynamics going on in the
film.
Great
action as well.
It was great. And yeah, I love that it's good action, but it's so constrained action. It's not Bayhem, it's not chaos cinema. We get to methodically see everything, which is the way Leon operates. It's great.
Precision.
So you can let us know what you thought of Léon The Professional down in the comments below, or you can hit us up on Twitter. We'll be back next week where we are watching
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Gary Oldman again.
Yeah, one more Gary Oldman.
Is this our first Gary Oldman film?
I want to say yeah, but I also feel like no.
Okay, well, hopefully we're going to go on a bit of a binge of Oldman. So
binge the Oldman. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
What, Johnny?
Call me gay boy. My name is now Gay Boy.
You would like me to call you now? Now, Gay Boy. mate's got a really good joke.